Man, what is up with the Sabres and what's up with Alex Tuch? We'll try to figure it out here on the Locked On Sabres podcast.
Your Locked On Sabres, your daily podcast on the Buffalo Sabres. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
All right, and thanks for making Locked On Sabres your first listen every day. We are free and available wherever you get your podcasts and on YouTube where you can watch the show. Be sure to like and subscribe us there. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Today's episode brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use the code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off your first purchase. We got a game to preview, we got a game to recap, and we got to figure out what is happening, what is going on with Sabre forward Alex Tuch. Spent a lot of the show on that because 1 assist in 6 games is all that the Sabres have from their second leading goal scorer from last season. And I do want to tell you why I think Tage Thompson, who only has 1 point, as well as Tuch's 1 point, Thompson's being a goal, Thompson is actually playing a lot better than Tuch, and why I think they're very different right now. That's coming up on the show. Get in touch with us, YouTube channel at Locked On Sabres or at Sneaky Joe Sports if you want there. Let's recap Sabres and Canadiens, though, I guess, if you want. I know a lot of fans might not want to hear what happened, what went wrong. I'm going to burn the tape. I don't want to burn the tape. 3-1 Montreal over Buffalo. But you know what? It wasn't a bad game from the Buffalo Sabres. I do think the lesson or the takeaway that I have from this game is that the Sabres got goalied. Not entirely. I don't think Montreal was bad. I mentioned going into the show that they've been fine this year. They've even been relatively good. But that's a weaker team on paper than the Sabres. The Sabres should dominate them. And you know what? There were plenty of moments on the night where the Sabres were buzzing in the Montreal end with the puck, and Montreal just could not take it from them. And the Sabres had a lot of trouble finishing those opportunities and turning them into goals and turning them into scoring chances. If we look at some of the numbers from last night's game, they show that. They had the puck, as I mentioned, for a lot of the game, but really they had a lot of shots and didn't have a lot of quality shots. In this game, 37 shots on goal for Buffalo, 27 for Montreal. Scoring chances were 29-28, though, for Montreal. Shot attempts, 69 for Buffalo, 51 for Montreal at 5-on-5, and expected goals for 3.7 to 3.7. Not because Montreal had the puck very often, but because their chances were of a higher quality. A couple of odd man rushes, a couple of one-timers, power play opportunities as well. Even though the Sabres went 1 for 5, the Sabres should have had 3 power play goals in this game, but they come away with just the 1 on 5 chances. And that is a story of this season so far, too, that I want to get to, is the power play. But I thought the Sabres were the better team. I thought they had the puck more, as I said. I think every line had their moments. Every line played relatively well. And you know what? In goal, I thought Eric Comrie was fine. I didn't think he was great. I didn't think he was as good as Saturday, but I thought Comrie was fine. He lost sight of a rebound on the first goal of the game in the first period early on by Justin Barron. Sabres have given up an opening goal 3 times in 6 games already, and they were all at home. I guess all their games, but 1 have been at home. Actually, that's not true. The Islanders 1 was on the road. Either way, 3 in 6 games have been scored on them in the first 5 minutes. And Comrie loses sight of the rebound. Justin Barron puts it home. The second goal of the game, third period, it was 1-1. I was watching the game with some friends, and I said a couple times, man, this game should be 5-1 right now. They were buzzing at the end of the second. And then Brendan Gallagher gets that goal in the third, and that was such a deflator. Gallagher gets on top of it right before Comrie's able to put his paw on it to cover it as it was laying in front of him. And that is just Comrie in urgency. You got to be quicker to that puck. You got to know that you've got a guy right camped in front of the net and your glove's got to come down lightning fast. Lightning fast. That was not my hand, by the way, breaking. That was the O-ring. The Tanner Pearson power play goal, the third, not on Comrie at all. It's a one-timer from a dangerous spot. The first 2, I think I would like a little bit better. But I think you should have allowed 2 goals That's not bad. That's not bad. Two goals allowed. So comes down to the Sabres and goal scoring. That's it, right, man? Like, they got to score more. They got that has regressed, and that can't happen. And I think it will come back, but it has not come back yet. And there are certain players on this team that have really let them down in terms of the goal scoring acumen. And Alex Tuch is one that we'll talk about in a moment. Tage Thompson is another. Now, Thompson, I thought, had a lot of chances in this game. There were a couple that hit Jake Allen, including one-timer from the left wall, where Allen made the saves. He didn't even know what hit him. He didn't see it coming. It was so fast. So Thompson really could have had a couple of goals in this game. I thought he played well. I thought he's played well on that line in general. But he had 5 shots on goal in this game. Not shot attempts, 5 shots on goal. JJ Peterka also had 5 shots on goal. Cousins had 5 shots on goal. Like, they had multiple players that had their chances, but they just couldn't get it past Jake Allen. Jake Allen saved almost 3 goals saved above expected in one game. That's a lot, by the way. If you're not familiar with that number, that is a lot. 3 goals saved above expected. Basically, it's pretty simple. I had the thing up a second ago. I'll put it back up for our YouTube watchers. Expected goals for 3.7 for Montreal. Or, excuse me, 3.7 for Buffalo. How many did they score? 1. That's a great job by Jake Allen. I don't expect that from Jake Allen all the time. He's a 1B goaltender in the NHL. It's being asked to be a 1A in Montreal. But sometimes you run into a hot goalie, and that's what happened in this game. And in addition to, as I mentioned earlier, Montreal got some of their chances. Ice time in this game, by the way, Dahlin carrying the load, 26 minutes. He was amazing. I thought, again, he gets an assist. He now has 6 assists in 5 games. He leads NHL defensemen in 5-on-5 points, even though he hasn't scored yet. But he's piling up the assists early on here. He leads the Sabres in scoring, the only player above a point per game. Jeff Skinner gets the Sabres' only goal. It's a nice shot by him, low on the wall. Power play. Sabres don't score at 5-on-5 in this game. That's super disappointing. Skinner's a nice shot on the goal. He's up to 3. Skinner's finding his way to score. He was assisted, by the way, by Dahlin and Cousins on that play. So Skinner's finding a way to score. Thompson can't really, but I've got an excuse for him. Why not Tuch? Why is Alex Tuch scoreless through 6 games? Why does he only have 1 assist? We will try to figure that out when we come back before we preview Sabres and Senators coming up on the Locked On Sabres podcast. We are presented by eBay Motors. Passion, drive, and patience. What brings home the winning trophy is also what keeps your ride or die alive. eBay Motors is everything you need to maintain your vehicle and level it up to peak performance, from superchargers, roof racks, exhaust kits, LED headlights, and plenty more. Whether you're into speed, power, or style, eBay Motors has got you covered. With over 122 million parts for your number one ride or die, you'll always find exactly what you're looking for. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, your part is guaranteed to fit your ride every time or your money back. Because with eBay Motors, you're burning rubber, not cash. With all the parts you need at the prices you want, super easy to turn your car into the MVP and bring home that win. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply. eBay Guaranteed Fit. Only available to U.S. customers. Back here in the Locked On Sabres podcast. Thanks for making us your first listen every day. What is happening with Alex Tuch? What is happening? 1 measly assist by the guy who was number 2 on the Buffalo Sabres in goals last year with 36 and 79 points, which was good for, I believe that was good for 3rd on the team. Let's make sure, double check that real quick. 4th on the team. 3rd on the team. Only Skinner outpaced him, along with Thompson. 79 points, 36 goals in 74 games. This year, 6 games played, no goals, 1 assist. Why? Why is it happening? Now, I asked Don Granato this on WGR on this Tuesday morning here, and he mentioned that he needs to get Tuch back in the rhythm of things, and he kind of wanted to lean away from the idea that Tuch is injured. And that is one possible explanation for Tuch's poor play disappearing act at the beginning of the season. Maybe he is dealing with an injury. In the preseason, he missed some practices and missed a couple of preseason games. Remember, there was that one preseason game where he was supposed to play, and like an hour before the game, we found out, oh no, he's not playing. He's dealing with something nagging. Maybe there's a carryover into the regular season. The NHL is so so secretive when it comes to injuries that we don't really get to know that. But you might want to assume it. And there are actually some numbers that point to he could be injured. If you don't know, the NHL just released this portal. They finally got out in front of the public this player tracking that we've been hearing about for years. And finally, they made it public. NHL Edge. You can go find it on the NHL website. There's a bunch of cool stats there with player tracking. So literally, player tracking, like how fast are these guys going? How fast are their shots going? And now we have numbers on that. So here we go. Here's some numbers on Alex Tuch. And I'll put these up for our YouTube watchers as well. Alex Tuch, so far this year, if you look at how fast is he skating, it's down. Last year, his top skating speed by average for a game. Actually, no, top skating speed is not by average. Top skating speed. Last year, we was clocked at 23 miles, 23 miles, 0.21. This year, just over 21 miles per hour. Okay, speed bursts. These are all new stats to me. I'm learning about these on the fly. Speed bursts over 20 miles per hour per game. Last year, 3.23. This year, 2, right on the dot. That's worse. 22 mile per hour speed burst per game. Last year, 0.23. This year, it hasn't happened yet. 20 to 22 mile per hour speed burst per game. 3 last year, 2 this year. 18 to 20 mile per hour burst per game. Last year, almost 9 total. This year, under 8. Skating distance per game, 3.23 miles. This year, 2.99. Shot speed, if you want his shot, 93 was his top shot speed last year. This year, it's 84. Everything is down. Everything. And the skating is, all the skating numbers are what I really want to focus in on here. Everything's down in the per game category as well. And I wonder if that means he's just, I've given Tuch credit too for being the best forechecker in the NHL. I think when he's healthy, he is. His length, his speed, his skating, I think he's the best forechecker in the league. I'm not seeing that this year. And that makes me think that he might be dealing with an injury as well. But let's say he's not dealing with an injury. Then big I said before the season I thought there'd be regression. Not this. This is unbelievable regression. And I can't believe that it's going to continue along these lines. I mean, if you look at what he's been in his career, this is not what he's on pace for. I mean, he's on pace for nothing. But last year, 79 points, 36 goals. Probably going to be near a career high for him. He might never top that. But what was he in Vegas at his best? 20 goals and 52 points. That, to me, is the floor for Alex Tuch. And we are currently seeing him below the floor. So it's either just a short sample size, maybe something's off mentally, maybe something's off physically. I don't know. But it's hard to figure out. And the advanced numbers don't do him much justice either. It's not fluky. It is fluky with Tage, and I'll explain that in a second. Why it's fluky that Tage isn't scoring, and it's not that Tuch isn't. Tuch right now, if you look at his numbers, I mean, expected goals for, Tage is number 1 in the team at 5-on-5. Tuch is 15th. Tage is at 63%, and Tuch is at 42%. That's a massive difference. The only players underneath Tuch in expected goals for at 5-on-5 are Peyton Krebs, Victor Olofsson, Zemgus Girgensons, and Eric Johnson. That's it. End of list. Now, what's funny about Tuch's stats, and they kind of look like the stats from Montreal last night, Tuch is on the ice for shot attempts. When Tuch is on the ice at 5-on-5, the Sabres' shot attempts compared to their opponent, 86 to 75. But then look at scoring chances when he's out there. When Alex Tuch's out there, or high danger chances, I should even say, 12 for Buffalo, 19 for the opponent. They might be getting shots while Tuch is out there, but they're not quality shots. He's been off on passes, been off with Skinner, been off with Thompson. He just looks off. And that needs to come back to earth. They need him to bounce back because he's a top 6 player. He's important to this team, not just on the ice, but in the locker room as well. So he's got to figure out his bleep, right? Figure out your bleep. Now, here's why I already kind of made the defense of Thompson, right? Thompson's getting chances. And Granato said that too. He's getting chances. Those pucks are going to go in. Number 1 on the team in expected goals for. Number 1 on the team at shot share, 99 to 56 when he's on the ice. Scoring chances. I mean, the Sabres have 50 when Thompson's on the ice at 5-on-5. The opponent has 19. I mean, it is domination when Thompson is out there. He's just been a little snake bitten. And I think that's going to stop. And I would even predict he's going to score in this game against Ottawa. Thompson's fine. Tuch's not. That's, to me, the lesson of all these numbers and watching these games. You see it, right? Thompson misses an open net the other night against the Islanders that easily could have gone in. He's finding the open opportunities. Last night, one-timers that are just barely missing. He hit a couple of posts as well. Tuch, are you noticing him? You at least notice Thompson. Are you noticing Tuch? Because I'm really not, except in that fight. That's it. Timeout here. When we come back, a tough matchup with Ottawa. Really tough, especially in a back-to-back. We'll look at what the Ottawa lineup looks like and what the Buffalo lineup looks like coming up on the Locked On Sabres podcast. We are presented by Game Time. Sabres will have some home games returning. I know they're on a road trip here, but they will be back. And if you want to be in the arena, you got to head to the Game Time app. You shouldn't have to worry about when you're buying tickets to your next big event. Game Time is the fast and easy way to buy tickets for all sports, plus music and comedy and theater events near you with killer last-minute deals, all-in prices, views from your seat, and their best guaranteed price. Game Time takes the guesswork out of buying tickets. Game Time last-minute deals and tickets right up to the start of the event. See the view from your seat before you buy it so you know exactly what to expect when you arrive. It's my favorite feature of the app. And you can buy your tickets in seconds with just 2 taps. It's super simple. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use the code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, redeem code LOCKEDONNHL. You'll get $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last-minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed. Final segment on the Locked On Sabres podcast, a tough matchup against the Ottawa Senators for the Sabres, and they need to get back on track. They can't let this slide continue. They are digging themselves a hole that I'm starting to get a little worried they won't be able to climb out of to make the playoffs. Not there yet. They would need another week or two of really, really bad play. But let's see. Right now, the Sabres 4 points in 6 games. It's dead last in the Atlantic Division. Ottawa in 4th place, played 5 games, have 6 points. So their points percentage is almost twice as good. But the Sabres can match Ottawa in the standings with 6 points with a regulation win on Tuesday night. With a regulation loss, Ottawa would go 4 points clear with a game in hand. The Sabres would fall, if that happens, 6, and potentially if Detroit wins tonight, because tonight everyone's in action, remember, Frozen Frenzy. Detroit could go up 8 points on the Sabres tonight. That is a tough hole to climb out of. So, big game, divisional game, road game. The Sabres have played well on the road dating back to last season, so I'm not too worried about that part of it. What I am worried about is that Ottawa's a pretty damn good hockey team, and they're rested, and you're not. The Sabres are on the second of a back-to-back. Only them in Montreal, remember, are on back-to-backs tonight because they played yesterday. Ottawa this year, where do they rank in some of the advanced numbers? Well, expected goals for percentage, they are 19th, so middle of the pack. Shot attempt percentage, they are at 15th in the NHL. They are a middle-of-the-road hockey team that I believe has a higher ceiling, that has the potential to be a top 10 team in the NHL. I do believe the Sabres still have that potential as well, but Ottawa's look better. You got to give it to them to start this year. And one potential reason, and I do believe this will be something that we are talking about and are going to be frustrated by at the midpoint of the year, if we get to game 40 and Ottawa's well ahead of the Sabres in the standings and maybe Detroit, both these teams, including tonight's opponent, the Senators, have made veteran acquisitions to try to push the envelope to get better right away. They've kept their young cores together. Ottawa's got Tim Stützle and Brady Tkachuk and Josh Norris and Drake Batherson and Jake Sanderson and Thomas Chabot. They've got a good young nucleus. But they surrounded that good young nucleus in a different way than the Sabres did. The Sabres have surrounded a good young nucleus with more good young nucleus. Ottawa surrounded that good young nucleus with Claude Giroux and Vladimir Tarasenko and Jacob Chychrun. And in goal, Jonas Korpisalo. They have done that. They have gone for it. They have pushed in a little bit. Alex DeBrincat, too, last year. I know he's not on the team anymore. Was that. Dominic Kubalik, they get back. They've put some veterans on the roster to try to push the envelope. And I do think that might give them a slight advantage when it comes to maturity and, you know, the struggles of the season and proven goal scoring, knowing what you're going to get. Really, from guys like Tarasenko and Giroux. I know I say that as the Sabre one veteran. Tuch is the guy that's not producing right now. But I like Ottawa. I think their team is solid. Top 6 for tonight against the Sabres. Stützle, Giroux, and Brady Tkachuk, line 1. Super solid. Josh Norris, Dominic Kubalik, Drake Batherson is the second line. Love that. Ridley, Gregg, Matthew Joseph, Tarasenko are the third liners. Rourke, Chartier, Parker, Kelly, and Mark Kastelik are the fourth liners. So they're good. I love their top 6, and they've got a nice scorer, 2 nice players, Matthew Joseph and Vladimir Tarasenko, that I like in their bottom 6. The blue line is solid. They are kind of similar to Buffalo. They've got some nice young pieces up top, and they've got a nice third defenseman, and then it gets a little weak after that. But the difference is that centers don't have a Dahlin. They might have an Owen Power, though. I think Jake Sanderson is very comparable to Owen Power. Similar draft status, similar age, similar contract status. There's a lot of similarities. Sanderson's off to a little bit of a better start, offensively at least. He's got 3 goals already after only having 4 last year. He's on the top pair with Thomas Chabot, Jacob Chychrun on the second pair with Travis Hamonic, veteran, longtime defenseman. Eric Branston and Jacob Bernard Docker are on the third pair. Again, like the top pair and the top 3, I should even say. I've got questions about the third pair, but I'm not following their team on a daily basis. So could be an excuse as to why. In net, Sabres are getting lucky. Another backup goaltender. They've seen 2 already. Here's a third one. Anton Forsberg will be between the pipes for Ottawa, not Jonas Korpisalo. So the Sabres get a little bit of a boost there. My keys to this game. For the Sabres to win it, and we need a win. We need some positive vibes back in our life. Number 1 key to the game. Figure something out with Tuch. If he's not working on his line with Casey Middlestad and Jeff Skinner, move him. Put him on the fourth line to try to wake him up. I'm usually not the guy that thinks that's a good idea. Try it. I'll try anything at this point to try to wake Alex Tuch up. Number 2, key to the game. Score on the power play. The Sabres went 1 for 5 against Montreal. They had a host of chances, and they weren't able to put it away. The Sabres on the power play this season are staring up almost at the rest of the league. They are 25th in the NHL. They have only scored on 2 of 21. They've had a lot of opportunities. Big reason why number 2 for me is score on the power play. They're going to get power plays. I truly believe because this big ESPN NHL show is going to show all the games and they're supposed to be going power play to power play. I'm not kidding. I think the league is giving a little wink to the refs to call more penalties tonight. I think you're going to see more penalties called tonight because of it. And I think you need to score on the power play. Number 3, and we have not even mentioned this yet on the show, but a big deal for tonight's game is that Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen is starting in goal. Devin Levi didn't make the trip. He should be full go when they come back. Lower body injury. Comrie went last night. Luukkonen goes tonight. My third key of the game, just don't blow it, Luukkonen. Don't blow it, UPL. And he really could. He is a very, very streaky goaltender. I have no idea what to expect. He could have a 38 save shutout, or he could let in 8. I really don't know what to expect. It could go any which way. So just don't blow it. I don't even need him to play great. Just give your forwards and your defensemen a fighting chance in this game tonight. Can Luukkonen be fine? Don't even need to be good. Can you just be fine? That's the third key to tonight's game. And a quick look at the betting odds for tonight's game. The Sabres, no surprise, are an underdog, especially in a back-to-back. The Senators are a big favorite, though. Minus 188 for you non-bettors. You would have to bet 188 to win 100. The Sabres are plus 155 on the money line to win. So if you bet 100 on the Sabres, you'd win 155. The over-under is holding steady this year. It's 6.5. The over juiced up a little bit more, minus 142. I'm going to take the under. I'm going to take the under. Unders have been hitting for the Sabres this year. Plus 116. Give me the plus money on that one. All right. Enjoy Sabres and Senators, and enjoy this new cool experiment that ESPN's doing. Frozen Frenzy. Maybe we're going to watch it during the intermission. Maybe we're going to watch it after the Sabres games, but I'm going to be trying to check it out here and there, maybe even with a second monitor. We'll see. Thanks, everybody, for listening and making us your first listen every day. Tomorrow, we'll talk about this game and hopefully a Sabres win. Next time on the Locked On Sabres podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.